everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Learn series. This week we'll be looking at process management and why it's important for a hacker to know how to manage their processes to optimize their system. Let's jump in! Let's start by learning how to view what processes are currently running on our system. We can do this by typing in the ps command. Now, our system assigns a unique process ID, shortened to PID, to each process. This is considered more important than even the name of the process itself, because we'll be using the PID when referencing the processes in our commands. We see very limited information from just running the ps command, so we're going to tack on the AUX options. Keep in mind, AUX isn't a word, but instead these are 3 different options. You can check man ps to see in more detail what these 3 options do for our command, but in short, the A option lets us see the processes for all users. The U is to display the user-oriented format, and X is used with a option to further lift restrictions preventing us from viewing all processes across the users. Now, running this command displays a lot more information and activity on our system. There's a lot to look at here, so let's break down the basic information by column. User shows who started the process. PID, as described earlier, is a unique process ID our system creates for every process. CPU is how much of the CPU is being processed. MEM, short for memory, is how much memory the process is using. Command is the name of the command that started the process. So let's start a process and see how we can find it in the process list. Let's start by loading up MSF console, which is the most popular interface of the Metasploitable framework, which is also an exploitation framework we will have fun with in later videos. For now, we are just going to run it so we can look at the process information. This time, we will pipe the output into a grep command that is searching for the keyword MSF console. From this command, we see the information of just the processes related to our search. If we want to see what processes are taking up the most resources, instead of looking at the large list of processes, we can use the top command. This lists out all the processes consuming the most resources, and it updates every 10 seconds. Now, this leads us to talk about zombie processes. A zombie process is a process that is displaying issues, using too many resources, or even freezing. When this happens, we may want to kill the process. Now, that may sound brutal, and it's because it is. There are several ways for us to kill a process. Actually, the kill command has 64 different kill signs, but we won't be looking at all of those. For now, we're just going to look at a few different values. Kill followed by the SID is a termination signal, or sigterm, which is the default. If you want to stop a process and restart it, you can use kill-1 followed by the PID. This is known as the hang-up signal. We see it immediately stops the process, and we see the MFS console log hang-up. There is also kill-9 SID, which is the absolute kill signal. This forces the process to stop by sending the resources of the process to the /dev/null, which we talked about a bit in last week's video. Besides killing processes, we can also change the priority of a process. Hackers tend to use multiple processes at once. For example, we may want to run our port scanner and a vulnerability scanner at the same time. To make sure our system is using its resources efficiently, we may want to set priority on these processes. The command we would use for this is the nice command. We can pretend that we have a slow process. Let's use bin/bash as an example. Now, processes have a nice value that ranges from -20 to +19. -20 being the most likely to receive priority and 19 being the least likely. By default, the processes are usually at 0 on that scale. Let's increase the priority for the /bin/bash process. Nice-in-10 gives it a higher priority. Or we could use nice-in10 to make it less of a priority. In other words, decreasing the nice value makes it more of a priority, and increasing the nice value makes it less of a priority. Keep in mind, only root can make these changes. Studying these process management concepts will help you in learning to become more efficient with your tools. For example, as a hacker, when you get access to a Linux system, you may want to kill a process like an antivirus to allow you to further exploit a system. Or you may have a malicious application on your system, and knowing how to navigate the process list will help you terminate that program. The last thing I want to cover with process management is your ability to schedule a process to run. This can come in handy, and we'll look at 2 different ways of accomplishing it. The first method is using @ which is a background process we call a daemon. Your Kali system may not come with this pre-installed, so to install it, use apt-get install at. The at command is used to run something once at some point in the future. So for example, we can schedule our port scanner script to run at 11. And it'll ask us what we want to run at that time. We put in /port scanner. You can look online to find acceptable time formats. We use the Cron Daemon for something we want to schedule to occur more than once. This process is a little more involved than the at command, so let's walk through how we would set this up. We need to start by opening up the file we have to modify, leafpad/etc/crontab. It's important to understand the format of scheduling a process to run. Let's break down these columns. M is the minute you can use, 0 to 259. H is the hour, 0 to 23. DOM is day of month, 1 to 31. MON is month, 1 to 12. DOW is days of the week, 1 to 7. The final two columns show the user in the absolute path to the script. So let's schedule a backup to happen at 1 a.m. every Sunday. We just add to the bottom line to indicate that we want a process to run. We set the minute to 0, hour to 1. We use an asterisk to represent any. This is known as a wildcard. We will use this to represent that the scan can be run on any day of the month or any month. We select 0 for Sunday. For user, we can put root, but it's common for people to create a user account named backup for the purposes of creating and restoring backups. But for now, we will just put root. And finally, we'll tell it where to find the script. /bin/systembackup.sh. So just to go over it again, we are telling the backup to run at the top of the hour on the first hour of any day of any month on Sundays as root. The only other thing to note is that you can use a comma to separate multiple days, or a dash for a string of days. For example, if we put 1,15, this will run on the 1st and 15th of every month. If we put 1-5, we will run every month, Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock. Knowing how to schedule your processes can save you a ton of time and automate tasks that you need done often. It's definitely something a hacker should have under their belt. Alright, so that wraps up this week's episode of Let's Learn. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe so you can see when more videos come out. And, as always, you can follow me on Twitter @TheComicGirl. Until next time, I'll see you next video.